not the phone I intended to use to do this. Whatever. Am I live? Is it showing me on there? What's up, Lila? There we go. There we go. Now I can see stuff. I'm here. Hey, what's up, Rodney? There we go. Hey, Rodney, do you want to be our banner today? So this should be kind of a fun one. I haven't shown you guys some of the things that I like to do to budget when I do budget. When I'm budgeting and you guys see that I cook steak and talk about steak a lot. So I'm gonna show you guys some of my favorite budget cuts of steak and ways that you can get really, really nice cuts of meat and not spend a lot of money. And you're probably already buying them. You just don't realize that you're doing that. So yeah, just go ahead and throw Rodney. Just go ahead and yeah, I finally got out of YouTube now. Go ahead and throw a message up there, you know, welcome to the channel, whatever. Like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. We're also going to freeze some meat, and we're going to make, I got a grinder for my KitchenAid. So we're gonna make hamburger meat. Which there's a couple ways to make hamburger meat on your own, like fresh, really good hamburger meat that's better than just buying it in the big tube. That's more cost effective. So yeah, it has been a while since I've live streamed. It's probably why there's only 4 people on here, and that makes sense. But I don't want to turn it on. So don't want to turn it on until we're ready. So repping the Battle Forged Foundation hat. If you guys are interested in a hat like this, let me know. They're a little bit more. They're $35, and all the proceeds for Battle Forged Foundation hats go towards Battle Forged Foundation. You can also go to battleforgedfoundation.org if you want to donate to Battle Forged Foundation. That's the nonprofit that I'm on their board of directors. So thank you, Rodney. Okay. So here we go. We're going to talk about a couple of different cuts of meat, how you can take advantage of those cuts of meat, and how you can get some really, really good, really nice steaks if you know how to treat those cuts of meat. So obviously this is just a rump roast. If you are careful with this, you could just cut it up thin. You know, if it's got enough marbling, you could treat it, a rump roast like this, you could treat it. This is close to where the, I think the rump roast, no, this is the rump roast. This comes off the butt. Never mind. You can try and make steaks with this. I don't think I would recommend it. I've never done it. But the cut of meat that you can make really good steaks out of is a gem that everyone knows what it is. They just don't know that you can make really good steaks with it. And it is a chuck roast. So if you look here, I bought this chuck roast because it actually looks kind of gnarly. But this, see this, all this marbling? That is gonna make some really good little steak bites. And then I've got another chuck roast that I've got here. And I'll show you why it will make a really good steak. So let's get a good knife. The good knife is in the we'll use some fancy knives. Hey, Mike from Switzerland. I got this really cool knife set from my wife for Christmas, which you guys haven't seen. So I think we'll use this knife today. How's that? That'll be a fun knife to use. It'll be fun. All right, so in a chuck roast, so this is a chuck pot roast, so it's a little bit smaller. It's not the full size roast, but the end product would be pretty similar. So in a chuck roast, there's a couple of different parts to the chuck roast. There's like the really sinewy and lots of different like veins of fat. There's that part, and then there's this strip along the top. It's kind of like a big. Usually it's just a big solid piece of meat, and I'll see if I can show it to you on this one. Yeah, so this piece up here, it's like one solid piece, okay? This part up here, this one's a little more, it's not as clean as I would like it, but this is commonly known as a Denver steak. So you can find, you go to the store and you buy roast, you see roast, usually roast by itself, especially like a chuck roast or a chuck pot roast, costs less than, you know, a really nice ribeye or something like that, or a New York strip. The reason that I bring that up is because this Denver steak has really good flavoring. It's got a really good beef flavor. It can have really good marbling. Like this is really good marbling. It's not enough clean marbling. That's why I have this one. This one's gonna make a much better steak right here. So all I'm gonna do, but anyways, roasts, especially chuck roast, because it's right next to the ribeye. All right. They can make for a really, really easy and really cost-effective way to buy steaks. I mean, like this chuck roast I bought. This one I bought for $10, the small one. It was normally $16.48. I saved $6. It was $9.99 a pound. Normally ribeyes, like a good boneless prime ribeye, is gonna be like $16.99 a pound at the store. And that's if you go to like, you know, Kroger or Walmart. But if you go to a butcher, it might be even more. So if you look, all I did was I took my chuck pot roast, I cut off this steak portion, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna do. Now I've got a nice 2-inch, inch and a half to 2-inch Denver steak. You can clean off some of the silver skin. I'm gonna do that. But usually it's not too bad, and I I know some people really clean off silver skin. I don't normally do it that much because silver skin doesn't bother me. And I don't want to get another knife out and look dirty, so I'm not going to do anymore. So yeah, so now this portion, if you still want to do roast, all right, I can take this and I can throw this into my crock pot. All right, I have 2 roasts. I always buy 2 roasts, and I recommend for everybody, always buy 2 roasts, because here's what you can do. If you get a good roast that has good marbling and you've got a good Denver steak on there, go ahead and cut the Denver steak. Cut it out. And then what you do is you take the rest of the meat that isn't the Denver steak and you use that for your roast. Because pot roast is just gonna reduce down and shred and everything. I'm just gonna know which portion of it is. So there we go. So now I've got, look at this. I'm gonna take this. Now I'm not gonna do that with these. I'm gonna make a burger with these leftovers. But now I've got a couple of pretty decent cuts of beef with good marbling, and you'll see what we're gonna do. We're gonna do something special with it. I mean, look at this piece right here. Look at that chunk of meat. I'm probably not even gonna do what I thought I was gonna do. I'm probably gonna just take this and I'm gonna cook it just as a steak bun. There, that'll go in our burger. But see this kind of marbling, you can find in a lot of pot roasts and chuck roasts. You can find marbling like this. This is what you get in like really expensive steak, in like A5, in Wagyu. And so now I've got this really, really fat marbled piece of meat that I can cook. And I'll show you this other one that I've got here. Here's the other one. Look at this. Look at how nice and marbled that is. Right there. Like that'll be just a nice cut of beef. Maybe I will make a pot roast tonight. Now I need to make burger with that. So what I'll do is I'll take all of this and I'm gonna freeze it. I'm gonna freeze that rump roast and this, what's left of the chuck roast. I'm gonna freeze it, and that's just gonna make it a little bit harder so that when I grind it, it grinds a little bit cleaner. Oh, I have 13 people. I love hunting. I haven't been hunting in like 15 years. So I know that sounds weird. How can you love hunting? I mean, I'm in my 40s. And I haven't gone hunting since I was in my 20s, but I used to hunt a lot when I was a lot younger. And I do miss hunting a lot. But I have a lot of buddies that still go hunting, and they will give me cuts of beef and cuts of elk and cuts of deer and venison, and so I do that. Cyber, I grew up in Alaska, so I used to hunt moose and caribou. I've never successfully hunted elk or deer. I've tried. I don't do it often, but I have tried up in Idaho, even though I'm in Utah. Because in Idaho I can just go buy a tag, and I pay a little more because I'm from Utah. But yeah, it's worth it. Okay, so now we've got our beef that we'll cube it up, and then we'll put it in a Ziploc bag, and then we'll Yeah, I'm gonna freeze it so that we can. Okay, so I'm gonna show you the seasonings I'm gonna put on this today. Because I'm gonna sear it first, and then I'm gonna do something a little special with it. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, but it's a really good way. Guga does this a lot. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn on my oven. And I'm gonna set it to 350 degrees. Actually, I'm gonna set it a little bit lower. We'll set it to 275. All right? And what I have here, and I've done this lots of times, what I have here is I have bacon fat and some olive oil and butter and beef fat from other things that I've cooked. I save my fat. I always drain it and I save it because there's lots of good flavor that comes from that. And I'm adding 2 more sticks of butter, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna heat this up in the oven. I'm gonna put a little bit of hot honey on it, even though that has real sugar. It has regular honey sugar on it. And some imitation honey that you can get at Walmart. If you're trying to watch your calories, if you're trying to watch your sugar intake, this is imitation honey. I've only found it at Walmart. It's not that much more expensive than regular honey. You obviously don't get as much, but I'm telling you, if you're doing like a low carb thing or a keto thing, or like I said, you just want that flavor, but you don't want the extra calories of regular honey, this is great. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go a little bit of this. I know that looks like a lot, but it really wasn't. That was maybe like 2 tablespoons. So I'm gonna do a little bit of that, hold on. Some of this is actual hot honey. Again, if you guys have a grocery store that has sales, all right, buy stuff on sale. Never pay full price for food if you can avoid it. We'll just put some of this in there. And that's gonna increase the sugar content a little bit, but it's gonna add some heat. And I'm gonna add some more stuff to make that have some heat. And we're going to put some Spice World chili oil. You can get this brand. I like this brand of chili onion crunch chili oil. You can get this on Amazon or at Costco sometimes. This isn't my favorite one, but this is definitely the best one for the volume and the value. Fat is an essential part of your diet. It actually is what, like in men, fat is necessary to build testosterone. It's a really crazy balance. You need fat to fuel your body's ability to build testosterone. So I'm going to do a big chunk of a big scoop of that because I like chili oil. I think it makes shit taste good. So I'm not really hungry. I'm not eating breakfast yet. And it's 12:30. So, like I said, when you're cooking, try not to make too much of a mess because you need to keep your area clean. Okay, so I'm going to throw this in the oven. I just want it to melt and render. All right. And now my steaks, we're gonna treat those a little different. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some seasoned salt. Not too much seasoned salt. And I put it, you know, I don't really care if it gets on the cutting board because I just use it to, I just tap the food on it. If you guys have never tried this, I hope you get a chance to try this sometime. So again, that big, long, solid piece on a chuck roast. So again, this piece and this piece, this is the same part of a chuck roast. This one just obviously is a little bit more solid, has good like marbling throughout the meat that's even, so it makes a good steak. And it's really tender. This one isn't so pretty, so I'm not going to use that one for steak. Sorry, my ADHD, I have to like wash my hands, or at least rinse them off. So, okay, so I put some seasoned salt on there. Put it on both sides? Yeah, put it on both sides. So now I'm going to do, this isn't garlic salt. I buy MSG on Amazon. Or you can also go to like an Asian market, and I'll show you the kind that I like. I like this kind. This is the best kind. MSG is not bad for you. It is not unhealthy. It's not unsafe. There's nothing bad about MSG. If you sit and you eat spoonfuls of MSG, like during the day, probably not a good idea. Just like if you did it with sugar or salt or anything else. But if you use it just as a seasoning to enhance the flavor of your food, this, perfectly safe. Perfectly appropriate activity. Great way to add a little bit more umami and beefy flavor. Because what it does is it brings out the natural flavor of foods. It just kind of intensifies it. Some foods that you eat every day that have MSG in them naturally. Tomatoes. Parmesan. Every type of cheese.
Dada?
What?
Oh, are you using your new knives?
I did. I used it to cut these steaks from these.
Did you
roasts.
show them?
Yeah, I did. Okay, so now we're gonna put some pepper on.
Which one did you use?
The one that's out.
Oh, I didn't notice that there was another. So are you just making some steak?
Yeah, I'm gonna season it, and then I'm gonna sear it, and then I'm gonna put it in that butter bath.
Oh,
like I
you
did that
should
one
do.
time.
I saw this thing in Nick the Giovanni, right?
Nick DiGiovanni, Uncle
Yeah.
Nick.
Yeah. And what he does is he seasons it and then he sears it in mustard.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
Why?
I'm sure that it's good. It's just not what I'm gonna do today. I'd be willing to try that another time. Okay, I
But
already
then
did.
again, he was making a beef Wellington when he did that.
Yeah, that makes more sense for beef Wellington. Okay, so then I like to do thick cut kosher salt. And if you sear your meat on a pan, all right,
What did we get yesterday?
don't worry about, what are you talking about?
Oh, I forgot that we had Olive Garden. So
Yeah.
it was just like, oh, we're all
After Riley's thing, we went to Olive Garden. So again, if you're gonna sear your meat in a pan, season your meat.
Goals.
I don't know how often people they think that they're gonna over season their meat. There's like, when you cook in a pan, when you sear, a bunch of your seasoning and everything sticks to the pan and it comes off the meat. Like it sticks to the pan. That happens. That's why, see what I did? Just tapping for the edges. Make sure you season the edges of your steaks too. If you're not seasoning the edges of your steaks, you're definitely rookie to steak prep. Hold on, let me rinse off my hands.
Is this one of the steaks that we found at Smith's?
Yeah.
We should make homemade sushi. And we can turn that into a live stream.
I do have a bunch of salmon I can do that with.
Do we have seaweed?
I don't think we have any seaweed right now. No, it's not too much salt. It's not too much salt.
Can you hand me a fork?
How's your chores downstairs coming? Why don't you just put some of those in a bowl and then go keep working on your chores?
Mm-hmm. I
know. Nobody wants to do chores. I get it. Anyways, okay, so that's all the way heated up. Let's turn up our pan. So I'm going to get my cast iron really, really hot because I'm going to render some of this fat that I have here. And then I'm going to sear my meat. And all I want to do is I want to put a little bit of a crust on it, and then I'm going to put it in our special cooking tray that has all the butter and the honey and the chili oil and all that. And I'm gonna let it cook in that, and it's gonna basically like really slow roast, completely submerged in butter and bacon fat and olive oil and chili oil and honey and other beef fat. And so there's all those flavors, and it's just gonna get absorbed. And it's gonna make it really, really tender and really, really juicy. You don't always get a full medium rare from cooking the meat this way. It's not gonna be like a true medium rare, but it is gonna be very, very tender and very, very juicy. It'll still have a little bit of that crust on it.
I got them pickle juice. Ooh, what is that?
Look, chill.
Look at my pickle. There's something white on it.
Where?
Right here.
It's fine.
Okay. Pickle juice is one of the best parts of pickles.
Garlic.
Garlic.
Salt. If nothing else, like SPG, you can't go wrong with SPG. Salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Today I'm doing a little bit of the, like I said, I'm doing a little bit of that seasoned salt. And I'm doing some MSG on there too.
King of flavor.
That's right, king of flavor.
Magic
As
powder.
Uncle Roger would so eloquently put. I'm sorry, I'm not even reading half of the comments. This garlic is just garlic powder.
Dad.
No, dieting, it's not. It looks like too much seasoning, but by the time you sear this in a really hot pan, a bunch of this seasoning is gonna come off in the pan. It's just what it's gonna do. I'm not gonna cook the whole steak. I'm just going to sear the outside of it. That's all I'm gonna do.
Guys, you just gotta trust the process.
Trust me, I've done this many times. I'm kind of a fat guy. I'm fit, but I'm also kind of fat.
Dad,
Yes.
what if there was such a thing as pickle seasoning and it just tasted like pickle, but it was in a powder?
Okay,
Wouldn't that be so yummy?
that would.
Okay, I'm gonna go downstairs.
All right. All right, so we're gonna sear this.
Dad, can you just time on Disney Plus?
Um,
I want to watch How I Met Your Mother while I'm reading.
Why don't you just watch it on your TV? Because my hands are full and I'm cooking and I don't want to mess anything up.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to take this back over here. I don't have great ventilation in my kitchen. I'm gonna open my doors. Yes.
Heads up, there's smoke upstairs. The alarm may sound. It's going to be loud.
And wait for. Do you want me to open a window?
What? I opened the window and I opened that door on the front door.
Okay. I'll fan.
Okay. All right. I've got a nice little crust and sear. I mean, look at that. Look at that. How pretty is that? I might set it off. There you go. My steaks are nice and seared. You'll note that my daughter isn't crying like a little liberal churd. Like, oh my gosh, the house is gonna be doing bad. And then I'll show you, I've got some crust and stuff in there. I'll show you my preferred method to clean. More than anything, that was just to cool off that pan. I think we'll be okay, Mia. I think you could just leave that door open.
Oh, I am.
So, now, what we're going to do is I'm going to... Okay. So now I'm going to use, I have a meat wireless thermometer. I'm going to put this in the largest of my cuts of beef. Right here. Right in the middle. Because it's not done cooking. And now, we're going to get out our secret stuff. So here's all that butter and fat that I showed you that was heating up. Make sure that it's all mixed up, even. Look at that. Look at all that golden goodness. we've got that chili oil and that butter. Oh man, you should come try this.
What is it?
It's
No,
the
I don't
chili
like
oil honey.
I don't like frying the oil stuff that you're baking in.
So now we're gonna put this right here.
I mean, I've heard that it tastes great, but I just don't like it. Oh, greasy.
I'm gonna spoon a little bit of this into a bowl. Pour it on top. Carefully take it over to the oven.
Heads up, there's smoke upstairs. The alarm may sound. It's going to be loud.
The alarm sounds right now. That's weird. Okay. So here we go. Make sure my thermometer's on. Sorry guys, I don't know what happened. I think I lost everybody for a minute there. I'm sorry guys, I've been talking about ICE and AR-15s and exercising your First and Second Amendment rights, cutting up the scraps of beef that we had so I can freeze it and then we can grind some burger. Seuss, beans, yes. Easy Man showed me the pistol caliber carbine. Yes, he did. I thought it was cool. But yeah, David was on here and he was saying he's going to go buy an AR-15 to protect himself from ICE and Trump. I think that's great. You should. You should absolutely protect yourself from whoever you think is a threat. As long as you're obeying the law, I don't care how you vote. Go buy a gun. I think that the Second Amendment is going to be the most unifying thing in our Constitution when it comes down to it. As long as you're obeying the law, exercise your Second Amendment right. Exercise your First Amendment right. It's the part where people don't realize, because they don't educate themselves on the laws, and they start acting the way that they've been taught to believe. Like, I know that there are people that have gone out and bought guns recently so that they can protect themselves against ICE and the conservatives. And then they go online and they post pictures. It's especially a lot of white women. I don't get it. Actually, I do get it. Liberal white women are probably the most politically dangerous individuals in the United States. But, so all these white women, they go out and they buy their guns. They go to the gun range and like, look what I did. Guess what I did with this piece of paper? There's all these holes. Yeah, you know why I have that? For the MAGAs, for all the Trump supporters. And it's like, so murder is still against the law. Just because you have a gun doesn't mean that you're allowed to murder people. Now, if someone threatens you, if someone is in your home that isn't lawfully allowed to be in your home, then yeah, go ahead and use that gun on them. Do that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what the Second Amendment is for. That and, protecting against the tyrannical government. But if they're not in your home and they're just out on the street, like if you see ice, you can't just go and start shooting at ice. That's not allowed. That's attempted murder, and that is very much illegal. So that's one of the things that I think is really funny is we have a lot of people on the left who are suddenly really interested in exercising their Second Amendment. But I think they're confused as to what they're allowed to do in exercising it. I don't know where that guy is that said I burned my steak and just burned all my seasoning and didn't cook it all the way. Like obviously, I said, I don't know what part of I'm searing all of this he didn't understand. Okay, so see, I've cubed up that rump roast and that chuck right here. I'm putting it into this freezer Ziploc bag. I'm going to freeze it for like an hour or so. Maybe a little bit longer, but then I'm going to grind it. It's got a little bit of salt and pepper on there, it's fine, I'll hurt it. Then I'm going to grind it up. And make homemade burgers. Maybe that's my family. Well, we got a bunch of leftovers we need to make. Maybe I'll make those for my. So my wife and I are going to go on we're leaving for our 20th anniversary later this week. We're going to Disneyland together. And her mom is going to come stay with our kids for the next week. And maybe what we'll do is the night that she gets here, I'll make the burgers from my fresh ground beef. It'll be good. Yeah, that's the other thing people don't realize is like, just because your political leader says resist ICE, and that's all he's saying or she is saying, that doesn't mean that is an open invitation to start shooting ICE or running them over with your car or trying to run them over with your car or even looking like you're going to run them over with your car. Oh yeah, I was going to show you guys how I clean my cast iron. Okay, so I rinsed the cast iron off, I cooled it down, and I rinsed out some of that fat and all that stuff. But what I'm going to do is, again, using my coarse kosher salt, because kosher salt is abrasive, but it's not abrasive on cast iron. It is abrasive. Kosher salt is abrasive on food and caked on food and carbon. So what you do is you use salt. And if you don't believe me, you can Google this. I'm not the only one that does it. In fact, someone that I really like to watch cook, and who's been cooking a lot longer than I have, his name is Alton Brown. And guess what? This is how he treats this here is how he treats his cast iron when he's done cooking. To clean it. And again, it just adds a little bit of salt seasoning to it. Doesn't hurt it. Pulls all any burn stuff off of there. Salt is a great seasoning and great tool. You can use it for lots of things. You can use salt to make a disinfecting water, saline solution. Okay, so look at that. Look how much I've cleaned out of that. Just like that. And then all I'm going to do remember I took some of that rendered butter and fat and everything? Just that. Who'd you come upon last night? Yeah, I was part of the program when Obama deported a bunch of people. There you go. Look at how pretty that is. Look what I did. Used it. Wait. What, David, what are you talking about? David, who's openly breaking the law? I mean, I don't want you to go buy an AR. I think you should go buy an AR. You absolutely should. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on it. Especially if you're just going to do something stupid like shoot at ice, which I don't recommend you do. Because they're just going to take it away after you're not alive. So, before everybody starts attacking David, I want to know. I want to talk to David. You guys know that I like to do this. So David, I want to know who's breaking the law. All right? Because I'm assuming that you are well versed in the law and you didn't just spend 10 minutes Googling things. All right? Because I am well versed in the law. So I want to know who's breaking the law and where you think you owning an AR-15 gives you permission to attack law enforcement officers. Unless I misinterpreted that. I would like to know. Rohan, yes. How are ICE agents breaking the law? Which law are they breaking? Cool, Rohan. Welcome to the channel. I hope you like guns and cooking. And did ICE do that to you, David? Did ICE illegally enter your house? David, did ICE enter your house? Everybody chill. I'm talking to David. Okay, so, David, I agree. You cannot put people in camps who have birthright citizenship. You're right, they can't put people that have birthright citizenship into camps. Who are they putting into camps that have birthright citizenship? I don't care if it's documented. If you're going to come into my channel and tell me what is happening in the world, and I say, please present a source or a situation. Please present it. Give an example. You don't actually have to post the source into there, but you give me a well-known example of ICE taking a birthright citizen and putting them into a concentration camp since Trump has been elected, and I will address it. I'm not a cop, but I work with cops a lot. I know a lot of cops. I am in the military. But even if you thought that I was a cop, I wouldn't take offense to that. I wouldn't think that that was a diss. I would take that as a compliment. That's right, I'm Air Force. Kilmar. Was Kilmar put into a concentration camp? Are you talking about the dude who said his life was in danger if he went back to Venezuela or Colombia? That guy? Why was his life in danger? Local courts don't have jurisdiction over federal law. No. The local court here in my town, in Utah, can't say, oh, this guy lives in our town, the federal government isn't allowed to deport him. They can say it, but they don't have jurisdiction over the federal government. States have to submit to federal law. That's why even though it's legal to have marijuana in Colorado, you still can't legally have marijuana and legally own guns. There are lots of people who do it, but you can't legally do it. Meredith, what are you talking about? What are you mad that I'm condoning? So you're talking about the Constitution, and you're talking about the right to a speedy trial, correct? So there's this preamble that exists. It says, Meredith, that's been done lots of times. That's been done lots of times. Use of military force in the streets is done all the time by the National Guard. Happens all the time. If you can't remember it, I'm sorry, but yeah, it happens all the time. When there's states of emergency. I was deployed onto the border of, yeah, that's who's currently in the streets, Meredith, is the National Guard. Who's in the streets that's active duty military that's deployed to the streets and conducting policing in the streets that's active duty military. That's like not in the National Guard. Yeah, that was the Marine Corps Reserve. Meredith, that was the Marine Corps Reserve. Yeah, sorry about that, David. So anyways, Kilmar wasn't placed into a concentration camp. Not to my knowledge. Let me see. Thanks. Let's do some searching. Kilmar deportation. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know why he was brought back. I think he was brought back because his lawyer brought him back because they want him to face trial because he was given a green card, or he was given a sanctuary visa, but there's documented information that shows that he has been enacting with I don't know if it's MS-13 or if it's Trinagua. All I know is his claim was that if he went back to El Salvador, his life would be in danger from a specific gang. That specific gang is the direct rival to another gang. And they don't generally have any issues with non-gang members. See, here's the thing with gang members. Here's the thing with gangs. Because like I said, I'm versed in the law, I work with a lot of police officers. Most gang members don't want to mess with regular people. They really don't. Regular everyday people, they have no interest in. What they're interested in is they're interested in turf wars and power over other gangs. Now, they sell drugs and they do things, and that's how they fund things with regular people. But people that aren't interested in buying drugs, that aren't interested in involving themselves with gangs, that aren't interested in doing anything that involves gang activity or gang-related activity, the gangs don't really have any interest in it. It's pretty well documented. So when someone says that they feel that their life is in danger specifically because of a gang, it starts getting looked into. And then when you start to find behavior and activities and things that relate to a rival gang, well, then your background and your activities and your things are monitored more closely. Which is why DHS and DEA and ICE have well-documented information that Kilmar Abrego Garcia, actually has been involved in gang activity here in the United States with human trafficking and drug trafficking and weapons trafficking. So, him being brought back, whether that's to try him and then redeport him, that I don't know. I'm not part of the DHS. I'm not privy to why he was brought back. But there is documented information. He's going to go to court, and he's going to get deported again. No, because see, when you're given a sanctuary visa or a green card, if it is deemed that you are breaking the law, if it is determined because you're not a citizen, you're legally granted status to live here in the U.S., you've got a visa, but it doesn't mean you're a citizen. So you're afforded some constitutional rights, but you have to still obey the law. When you start disobeying the law, then those constitutional rights can be voided because you're not holding up your end of, I'm going to be a good custodian of American society and law. So yeah. So Well, no, see, that's where you're wrong. A person who holds a green card or a visa, the federal government doesn't have to take them to court. They can remove it. Now, they can go to court to try to get their rights back, and that might be what's going on with Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He may have been brought back so that he could try to go to court. Maybe he's trying to sue the federal government to get his green card or his visa back. But if you're not a citizen, if you're not a legal citizen, a visa is not a citizen, a green card is not a citizen. All right? If you're not a citizen of this country and you break the law, they can take away your visa like that, no questions asked. They can say, no. If you've got a green card, the federal government can say, no, not anymore. So.
Hey, Dad, sorry, I ended up falling asleep while I was cleaning my
Yeah, I
bedroom.
knew that you were going to do that.
I'm sorry.
It's fine, just go do your chore. So. We got about 19 minutes left on our beef, you guys. Withholding of removal status, unless it's granted by a federal judge, okay, if it was granted by a state judge, withholding of removal can be voided.
Dad,
Yes.
I'm not sure what this means, but Ezra wanted me to tell you that he's been done for like 25 minutes now.
Oh, I didn't realize he was done. Okay. All right. Well, guys, it looks like I'm gonna have to let you go, and because I have to go pick up my son. And it was a good discussion. Trump administration also said it was an administrative error. Federal courts made rulings. We're doing ground beef and eggs and some cheese for tonight's dinner. Can't wait. How's Utah this week? Well, Utah hasn't been bad, Kelly. So, well, I guess we'll find out when he gets back, and then they take him to court. So let me get this straight. If all of this is correct, and everything that happened with Kilmar Abrego Garcia is correct, of all of the deportations that have happened since Trump took office, they fucked up one time. With a dude who it's in question whether or not he should be here in the United States. You might not feel that way. The DHS seems to feel that way, and the federal government seems to feel that way. So I'm going to be honest. I'm not one that is. I'm not a super big fan. If it saves innocent lives, that's fine. I understand that. Okay, my hat's off to you. Okay, you provided an example. You provided an example of someone who was deported under questionable legality, not under complete illegality, because there was basis for it. So that's probably why he's in court, to determine if what they did was illegal or if it was not illegal. But I mean, David, I still think you should go buy an AR-15. I would just hesitate. I would hesitate to pull it on someone if you don't know all the details. So, thank you everybody for joining me. I will try to post video of the steaks when they're done. They're not going to be done for about 20 more minutes. So, you guys have a wonderful Sunday. It was good to live stream for a little bit. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And we will see you next time. Look out for the push-up video and keep having discussions. Keep talking. Keep having discourse. When people stop having discourse, that's when people do stupid things like go buy an AR-15 and start shooting at ice because they don't like ice and they think that it's illegal. But, you know, that's a choice. It's one of the choices of all time. It's not one that I would support. It's not one that I recommend. But I guess like you could do that, we just can't control the consequences. Love you guys, stay safe, be good.